large intestine. Today we are going to discuss about that. We have learned already that small intestine is made up of duodenum, jejunum, ileum, and the ileum opens into the cecum of the large intestine. So the large intestine is starting from the ileocolic junction to the anus. The extent of the large intestine is from the ileocolic junction to the anal orifice. It is about 1.5 meters long. Now if you see, we have here cecum, which is a blind pouch. The posterior medial wall of the cecum is showing a vermiform appendix. Okay. Now into the cecum we have got the opening of the ileum. Here you get the ileocecal orifice. What do you call? This is the ileum, right? This is the appendix. Here we have the cecum, which is nothing but a blind pouch. Ascending up from the cecum, we have got the large intestine, which is called the ascending colon. Ascending colon. You are now aware that there is liver that is present. Okay, so here you get the liver. The ascending colon turns. It forms a fold and it turns to the left side where it forms the transverse colon. The transverse colon will again bend on itself, okay, and that is what you call the descending colon. Here we are having the descending colon. Now this is the transverse colon. Please observe, the ascending colon is folding upon itself and taking a left turn. So this is called flexure. This folding of the colon is called flexure. As it is taking place under the liver, it is called hepatic flexure of the colon. It is present on the right side of the abdomen, so it is also called right flexure or right hepatic flexure or just hepatic flexure. And if you see the transverse colon, again underneath the spleen that is present here, it is again forming a flexure. So this is called the left flexure of the colon, or it is also called left splenic flexure of colon. And this left splenic flexure of the colon is relatively at a higher level. Now if you draw a transverse line, you see this is at a higher level. The left splenic flexure is at a higher level when you compare it with that of a right hepatic flexure of the colon. And here we are having the descending colon, and here you have got the sigmoid colon. The terminal portion of the colon is the sigmoid colon, which opens into the rectum. It is opening into the rectum. It is opening into the rectum. And here we have got the anal canal, and that is opening the anal orifice. Now this is the anal canal, and here we are having the anal orifice. Generally we call it as anus, anal canal, and that is what we are trying to learn. Now please observe, whenever you are drawing the large intestine, you are drawing something like this, the wavy border. Actually, why you are drawing? What are these called? These are called saculations or hostrations. These are called saculations or hostrations, which are also called as puckerings. These are also called puckerings. The puckered appearance of the large intestine is because of the longitudinal muscle cord is shorter compared to the circular muscle cord. The longitudinal muscle cord is shorter compared to the circular muscle cord, so you are getting these puckerings or hostrations or saculations. Now if you observe the transverse colon, it is suspended by mesentery. This mesentery is called transverse mesocolon. And here the sigmoid colon is also having sigmoid mesocolon. So you have got the transverse mesocolon and you have the sigmoid mesocolon. So these two portions are mobile. The sigmoid colon and the transverse colon are mobile parts of the large intestine because they are suspended by mesentery. Little bit of movement they will show. As such, most of the large intestine is almost fixed. Most of the large intestine is almost fixed. Then, after this saculations and hostrations, the puckerings of the large intestine, it is very interesting to see a distinguishing feature that is present only in the large intestine, and that is the Teniae. There are 3 Teniae or Tenia coli. Okay, these are 3 in number. Now, if you see the base of the appendix, now here you see the base of appendix. Starting from the base of appendix, or around or surrounding the base of appendix, you have got a longitudinal muscle cord which is running on the anterior surface of the ascending colon and cecum. It is seen on the anterior surface. And what is that called? That is called Teniae libera. It is called Teniae libera. This Teniae libera, in the region of transverse colon, it becomes inferior. It becomes inferior. This Teniae is becoming inferior here in the region of transverse colon. Again, here in the region of descending colon, it becomes anterior. In the region of descending colon, sigmoid colon, up to the rectum, it is anterior. Only in the region of transverse colon it is becoming inferior. This Teniae libera. In the same way, if you see the posterior medial aspect, so there is another Teniae that is seen on the posterior medial aspect. That's why I am giving a dotted line, which is posterior medially that is present, is called Teniae mesocolica. It is called Teniae mesocolica. This is running posterior medially. This becomes absolutely posterior in the region of transverse colon. It is becoming absolutely posterior. Then again here in the region of the descending colon and the rectum, here it is becoming posterior medial. What is starting posterior medially is the Teniae mesocolica. To begin with, in the cecum and the region of ascending colon, it is posterior medial. But here in the region of transverse colon, it is becoming absolutely posterior. And again, in the region of the descending colon, you see it is becoming posterior medial. The longitudinal muscle cord called Teniae mesocolica. Then, coming to the longitudinal muscle cord which is present posterior laterally, that's why I am drawing the dotted line. This is called Teniae ommentalis. Teniae ommentalis. So there are 3 Teniae. This Teniae ommentalis, it is posterior lateral to begin with. It is posterior lateral in the region of cecum and descending colon. This becomes anterior superior. This becomes what? Anterior superior in the region of transverse colon. So it is becoming anterior superior in the region of transverse colon. Again, once when it goes into when it is seen when you place it along the descending colon, again it is becoming posterior lateral, part of the descending colon and sigmoid colon and rectum. You are seeing this Teniae ommentalis. Are you understanding how the course of these Teniae is seen in the ascending colon? It changes in the transverse colon because of the flexion or the folding of the transverse or folding of the ascending colon to continue as the transverse colon. Now we see the peritoneal bags filled with fat in the region of transverse mesocolon and sigmoid mesocolon. So this is called the appendices epiploicae. Appendices epiploicae. Okay. Now what are appendices epiploicae? They are nothing but the peritoneum filled with fat. If a person is eating a lot of food, what is happening? He is becoming fat. How exactly is becoming fat? No doubt, stomach is distending. Also you see the collection of this fat in these peritoneal bags of fat, especially in the region of transverse mesocolon and sigmoid mesocolon. Again, when the person is fasting, when the person is dieting, automatically this fat will melt away. Again, he is becoming thin. Okay, so that's what we are calling as appendices epiploicae. Now coming to the features of the large intestine, the very special features, there are three. One, the tinea that are present, the longitudinal muscle cords. What are they? Tinea libera, present anteriorly, and the other two are present posteriorly. Posterior-medially, you have got tinea mesocolica, and then posterior-laterally, you have got tinea omenthalis. Okay, then you have got sacculations or puckerings or hostrations. That's why you see the surface of the large intestine. You know, these puckerings you have to show. You should not show in the form of a straight, smooth line. Okay, and then you have got the third, appendices epiploicae, the third feature of the large intestine, which are nothing but the peritoneal bags of fat. Okay, and the meaning of appendices epiploicae is to float on, to float on. And then if you see the blood supply, there is one artery called marginal artery of Drummond, that is the blood supply of the large intestine. The marginal artery of Drummond. This marginal artery we have discussed. We made a video on this, so if you want to learn about marginal artery of Drummond, you can see that. Okay, formed by the colic branches of both superior and inferior mesenteric arteries. If you see the large intestine, the cecum, appendix, ascending colon, and right 2/3 of the transverse colon, they are all developed from the midgut. Okay, and if you are seeing this left 1/3 of the transverse colon, the descending colon, the sigmoid colon, rectum anus, they are all developing from the hindgut. So both the arteries of foregut and both the arteries of midgut and hindgut. So artery of midgut is superior mesenteric artery, artery of hindgut is inferior mesenteric artery. So both these arteries are forming an anastomotic channel around the large intestines, which is called marginal artery of Drummond. Thank you. So, large intestine, what are the functions of large intestine? Very quickly we'll discuss. The large intestine is basically absorbing the water of the contents, which are passing to the large intestine. The water is absorbed by the large intestine. That's the first and foremost important job of large intestine. Second, it makes the waste material very soft by addition of mucus. You see, the large intestine is having lots of goblet cells. These goblet cells, they produce mucus, and that is making the fecal matter soft. And this mucus that is produced by the large intestine is rich in immunoglobulin A bodies. There are rich immunoglobulin A bodies in the region of large intestine's production of the mucus. In the large intestine's mucus, you have a rich collection of immunoglobulin A bodies. And there is bacterial flora that is present in the large intestine. So when you are talking about the bacterial flora, it's very interesting for us to know these bacterial flora, they are very friendly to us, and they synthesize vitamin B. You know, synthesizing of vitamin B is done by these bacterial flora. So that's why when we are taking antibiotics, now what is antibiotic? Anti means against, biosis means life, bio means life. So these medicines, they really not only kill the bacteria and viruses, also they kill off this bacterial flora when you are using antibiotics in the long-term basis. So what we should do before we start antibiotics, you should start taking probiotics. What are probiotics? Probiotics is those which are enabling the life of this bacterial flora. For example, yogurt. For example, curds. You understanding? So you see elderly people in the home, maybe mothers, grandmothers, they'll be again insisting us to drink buttermilk or to eat curds, and we say, oh, I don't like. But please understand, they are probiotics. They are very essential for the proliferation of the colonies of the bacterial flora in the large intestine. Okay, they are blessing in disguise, curds and buttermilk. So you should go for these probiotics. Also, yogurt is there available. That also is a good probiotic. Thank you. Now, differences between the small intestine and large intestine we are trying to discuss. First, we'll go with the length of these intestines. So, if you see the first feature, length. The small intestine is up to 6 meters long, and this is about 1.5 meters. Okay? And if you see the parts, there are only 3 parts of small intestine. They are duodenum, right? Jejunum and ileum. Duodenum, jejunum, ileum. These are the parts of small intestine. But if you take the parts of large intestine, they start from cecum. They go with appendix, ascending colon, descending colon, transverse colon, that is ascending followed by transverse, then descending colon followed by sigmoid colon, and then you have got rectum, anus, right? So these are all the different parts of large intestine. If you see, the large intestine is having more parts, but the length is just 1.5 meters. And small intestine having only 3 parts, duodenum, jejunum, ileum, and it is up to 6 meters. Okay, and then after the part, now you get the characteristic features of small intestine. So in small intestine we have got villi, the finger-like projections, okay, villi, which are helping in absorption of the food. You have this villi in small intestine. In large intestine, you don't have any villi, okay, they are absent. And if you see, there are circular mucosal folds called valves of Kerckring. Valves of Kerckring in small intestine. These are the circular mucosal folds which are permanent. The circular mucosal folds which are permanent, these are present in the small intestine. In large intestine, you don't have such valves of Kerckring. You have some mucosal folds, but they will be obliterated once the longitudinal muscle relaxes. Here, in large intestine, you are having some temporary folds, some temporary mucosal folds, but they will be obliterated once the longitudinal muscle is relaxing. This circular mucosal coat in the large intestine will disappear. And then you have got Peyer's patches. Now what are Peyer's patches? They are the aggregation of lymphatic follicles starting from 2 centimeters to 10 centimeters seen in ileum especially. Peyer's patches are nothing but the GALT. What is GALT? Gut associated lymphoid tissue. The characteristic feature of the ileum, the small intestine ileum, it shows extensive area of collection of the lymphatic follicles, and these are called Peyer's patches. About 2 centimeter to 10 centimeter. Okay, the extent of the Peyer's patches is. And here in large intestine you don't have any Peyer's patches. Here it is seen in the ileum. Okay, then you have got the Appendices, epiploicae. Appendices, epiploicae. These are absent in small intestine, but they are present in the large intestine. Appendices, epiploicae. They are present in the large intestine. What are they? Peritoneal bags of fat, okay, which are seen in the transverse mesocolon and sigmoid mesocolon. Then you also have the saculations or castrations or puckerings are absent in small intestine, but they are present in the large intestine. And we have got Teniae. Teniae coli. There are 3 Teniae coli which are absent in small intestine, present in large intestine. The 3 Teniae coli, Teniae libera, Teniae momentalis, Teniae mesocolica. They are present in the large intestine. And infections, very frequently you have got in small intestine. What infections you are having here in small intestine are the typhoid, okay, typhoid ulcers, you can call typhoid, tuberculosis, very frequently affecting the small intestine. So this typhoid is causing diarrhea, okay, so here you are having diarrhea being caused. And here in the large intestine you have got entamoeba histolytica infections, the amoebiasis, if you see, entamoeba histolytica, you know, and then that is the amoebiasis which is common in the large intestine. And then you have got here the complication called dysentery. Here in the large intestine you have got dysentery. The patient is presenting with dysentery because this large intestine is infected due to entamoeba histolytica or maybe the dysentery causing organisms. Are you able to understand? And here basically the job of small intestine is to absorb what? All the metabolites, the proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and all are being absorbed here in the small intestine, the essential nutrients, micronutrients, macronutrients. And what is the job of large intestine? Absorption of water and making the fecal matter soft by adding mucus. So these are the differences between the small intestine and large intestine. I hope you had a good time gathering some knowledge about the differences between these two. Thank you.